Right now on Denver 7 News at 10, historic events in the United States. Donald Trump, now the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges.
A Manhattan grand jury finding enough evidence to prosecute Trump over alleged hush money payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels.
Tonight, we're breaking down key details leading to this unprecedented indictment, how lawmakers are responding, and what's next for the embattled former president. Thanks for joining us for Denver 7 News at 10 tonight. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Jessica Porter. For the first time in history, a former president has been indicted.
Donald Trump will be arraigned in New York City, though right now it's unclear exactly what he is charged with. The indictment's sealed until his arraignment.
The New York Police Department is on high alert following the news of the indictment. ABC's Faith Abube joins us in Washington with the latest.
Good evening to you, Jessica and Shannon. Sources tell ABC News that former President Donald Trump is expected to turn himself in sometime early next week. We also know that he has already started fundraising off the indictment. In an unprecedented action, a Manhattan grand jury has voted to indict former President Donald Trump. Trump is currently seeking the 2024 Republican nomination, becoming the first former president in U.S. history to be charged with the crime. The investigation, conducted by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, involves an alleged $130,000 hush money payment to porn actress Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Trump's former fixer and attorney Michael Cohen, who testified before the grand jury, responding to Trump's indictment, saying in part, quote, "I take no pride in issuing this statement and wish to also remind everyone of the presumption of innocence," adding, quote, "However, I do take solace in validating the adage that no one is above the law." Cohen already pleaded guilty in the case, admitting that he wrote the check to Daniels at Trump's direction. He later served federal prison time in part for that payment. An attorney for Daniels saying, quote, "The hard work and conscientiousness of the grand jurors must be respected. Now let the truth and justice prevail." Attorney Bob Costello, who says he once advised Cohen, also testified before the grand jury in Trump's defense.
If they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence.
The former president speaking with ABC News by phone after the indictment, calling it an attack on our country and political persecution. Trump has repeatedly denied the affair and any wrongdoing.
From the beginning, it's been one witch hunt and phony investigation after another.
Trump's legal team says he paid Daniels to protect his family. His lawyers now vowing to fight the indictment as many Republicans come to the former president's defense, including House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, claiming without knowledge of the evidence that the Manhattan DA, quote, "weaponized our sacred system of justice against President Donald Trump. The American people will not tolerate this injustice, and the House of Representatives will hold Alvin Bragg and his unprecedented abuse of power to account." And Jessica, Shannon, Trump has called on his supporters to protest. Police sources tell ABC News that following word of the indictment today, all NYPD officers have been ordered to show up at 7 a.m. on Friday in uniform for deployment around the city. In Washington, Faith Abube, Denver 7.
And Faith, once again, sources telling ABC News Trump could be in court as early next week, in fact. But this indictment sets in motion a criminal process that's going to be different because of who he is.
Yeah, it could potentially be, Shannon. It's really hard to say right now because we have never been in this situation before. It's an unprecedented situation we're in right now where a former president has been indicted. What I can say at this point is that Trump's attorney was on Fox News this evening and said that Trump will not receive a mugshot. He will not be put in handcuffs. But we haven't heard that from the DA's office just yet. But we're waiting for any new developments overnight.
Uncharted waters here. All right, Faith Abube in Washington. Thank you, Faith.
Colorado Republicans are defending former President Trump after today's indictment. The Colorado GOP releasing a statement that says in part, quote, "Instead of doing his job and prosecuting criminals who are contributing to the skyrocketing crime in New York, Bragg is engaged in an unprecedented political prosecution that threatens the very fabric of our constitutional republic," end quote. Colorado Democrats also responding, quote, "We welcome the news of Trump's indictment and believe it's important that he's treated the same as every American," adding if regular people did what Trump did, they would already be serving time in jail.
And going in depth here, Trump's legal worries don't stop with the Manhattan district attorney, the former president facing 3 other known criminal investigations, 2 being helmed by special counsel Jack Smith with the Department of Justice. One, the investigation looking into Trump's effort to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power on and leading up to the January 6th insurrection. The second, investigating Trump's handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago and potential obstruction of justice. And then lastly, the Fulton County, Georgia DA investigating the effort to influence and overturn the results from Georgia's 2020 election.
Denver 7 is staying on top of this developing story involving former President Trump's indictment. We'll continue to bring you updates on air and on Denver7.com.